Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's been so long since I've seen so many of you, since we have seen so many of you at our Shavuot and Yom Tov and Yizkor services. So it is a joy to continue that celebratory atmosphere and to bring in the next holy part of our week, to move from Kodesh to Kodesh as we celebrate Shabbat. For those of you joining online, our Siddur Pirchei Kodesh can be found just a click away. And if you are joining us, if you are one of the mighty and strong joining us in this room, in our Mishkan, you can find our prayer book right in front of your seat. We are on page 105.
Hide, 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 hide,
And may we only turn from simcha to simcha as we invite up the Kaufman family, who tomorrow morning will be celebrating with our congregation the bar mitzvah of Max. And together the family are lighting our congregational candles to welcome in Shabbat. And that is on my right. And on my left, you see these beautiful trays with other Shabbat candles. So for those of you who would also like to fulfill this mitzvah, maybe you haven't been here in a while, maybe you have an occasion you wish to commemorate, or maybe you simply want to welcome in Shabbat with light, we invite you to come and light our candles. We are on page 106 with our candle blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. We sing a new song. Please repeat after me. We've learned it once, but maybe not all of you were here. Shiru Ladonai, try it. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Chadash. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Ladonai, Kol haaretz, Kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Baruch Basuru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Basuru miyom leyom Yeshuato. Here we go. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru ba'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim niflotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Umechulal me'od, Norahu al kol Elohim. Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol haaretz, Shir Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru ba'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim niflotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Umechulal me'od, Norahu al kol Elohim. Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol haaretz, Shir Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru ba'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim niflotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Umechulal me'od, Norahu al kol Elohim. Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol haaretz, Shir Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato. On page 109, 3 lines down, the heavens will rejoice, Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. The earth will exalt, the sea and its fullness will roar. Ya'alos sadai v'chol asher bo, az yiranenu kol atzayar. The fields will be glad and all is in them. Then all the trees of the forest will sing for joy. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירהם החיים ומלואו, ירהם הים ומלואו. יעלוס די וכל אשר בו יעלוס די, איי 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 יעלוס די וכל אשר בו יעלוס די, איי 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 אז ירננו כל הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר. יעלוס די וכל אשר בו יעלוס די, איי 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 יעלוס די וכל אשר בו יעלוס די, איי 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 איי. אז ירננו כל הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר. יעלוס די וכל אשר בו יעלוס די, איי 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 יעלוס די וכל אשר בו יעלוס די, איי 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 איי.
And we welcome in the presence of Shabbat with Lecha Dodi on page 115. And in the spirit of welcome, I would like to welcome up our friend and future colleague, Will Brockman, who will lead us in Lecha Dodi and with whom we look forward to celebrating as he shortly heads to cantorial school.
לקראת כלה, לה 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 לה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבל, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, לה 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 לה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבל. שמור וזכור ודיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. דודי יא לה 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 לקראת כלה יא לה 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 פני שבת פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה יא אלי אלי יא לה 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 לך דודי יא לה 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 לקראת כלה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה יא אלי אלי יא לה 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 לך דודי יא לה 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 לקראת כלה יא לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי חלה יא אלי אלי יא לה 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 לך דודי יא לה 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 לקראת כלה יא לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה יא לה 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 לך דודי יא לה 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 לקראת כלה יא לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה
Yashikoach will, and we will ask you to rise once more as we turn to page 119 for the Baruch Hu.
את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Roll in
dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech, kolel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech, kolel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Unending love have you shown your people, the house of Israel. Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts have you taught us. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will reflect on the meaning of your laws and rejoice in the words of your Torah and in your mitzvot forever. For they are our life and the length of our days. On them we will meditate day and night. May your love never depart from us. Praised are you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, ועבדתך לתסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה, אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לדודפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. As we move into the Geulah, I want to acknowledge that earlier today, we celebrated the festival of Shavuot, which ultimately is a festival about faith, just as this Geulah prayer is also about faith, as we commemorated the reception of the Ten Commandments. And on that note, I want to draw our attention briefly to a short note by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel at the bottom of page 124 as he meditates on this idea of emunah, of faith. Faith does not detach us from thinking. It does not suspend reason. It is opposed not to knowledge, but to indifferent aloofness to the essence of living. Faith means to hold small things great, to take light matters seriously, to distinguish the common and the passing from the aspect of the lasting. Faith is the insight that life is not a self-maintaining private affair, not a chaos of whims and instincts, but an aspiration, a way, not a refuge. Faith is real only when it is not one-sided, but reciprocal. We can rely on God if God can rely on us. And with these words in our heart, we too think of what it means to renew our faith, not just today, but every day, the same way that our ancestors did on the shores of the sea on page 125.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi chamocha mahelim Adonai mi kamocha nehtar bakodesh norati Lord Osefele, Malchut Harav Hanecha, Bokeyam Lifnei Moshe, Malchut Harav Hanecha, Bokeyam Lifnei Moshe, Zeli, Anu V'Yahameru, Adonai Imloch Leolam Leolam Va'ed Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 V'nemar kifata Adonai et Yaakov, כי הלום יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה לה יא לה לה לה.
We continue praying for God's protection. Grant that we may lie down in peace, Adonai our God, and raise us up, O Sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield us from hatred and plague. Keep us from war and famine and anguish. Subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and our helper, our gracious and merciful Sovereign, give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. Guard our coming and our going, that now and always we may have life and peace. Praised are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
ופרוץ עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה, אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו, ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי הורגי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי אחון וביום ביכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמי קודשה בריחו לעילה, מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן מעלמה, ואמרו אמן. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי אגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל HaKadosh.
We now take a few moments for the words of our ancestors or the words of our own hearts until we join together once more.
עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, ויחסה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, ויחסה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. ויחסה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמן. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, ויחסה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. ועל כל ישראל,
With the spirit of peace and our tradition in our hearts, we acknowledge firstly the need for healing within our own land. Earlier this morning, we recited so beautifully the 10 Commandments in the Iraqi tradition. And what it makes us think about at this festival of Shavuot are the commandments and the sacred covenants that we have with each other and with those around us. And therefore, we acknowledge the covenant that we share with our Indigenous brothers and sisters on whose land we are blessed to be hosted and to whom we work towards truth and reconciliation with each and every day. We acknowledge too those within our own community, our own Holy Blossom family in need of healing of the body and the spirit. Johanna Falk, Hannah bat Gittel, Joel Sears, Gittel Yaakova bat Sarah v'Shmuel, Moshe Gershon ben Ruchel Leah uVaruch Shalom Chaim, Eliyahu ben Rachel v'Chaim Yitzchak, Sarah bat Devorah, Hannah Gittel bat Geula uMoshe, Elisheva bat Sarah Gila v'Nachman, Limat Cyril bat Shana Frima, Hudi Charendorf, Abba Zalman ben Sarah, Yael bat Sheva bat Sarah Leah, Genendel bat Ruth v'Chaim, Shmuel Yaakov ben Nachum, Avimelech ben Fegel v'Moshe, Bracha bat Zisel, Eliezer ben Rivka v'Avraham, Susan Borenstein, and Yonia Ziegler, as well as Fred Kaufman. If there are names that you wish to add to our prayers for healing, please feel free to do so as my eyes meet yours. Refuah Shlema to each one.
El Narefa Nala, El Narefa Nala, El Na, El Narefa Nala. Fanala, El Narefanala, El Narefanala,
Shabbat Shalom once more. There is a well-known Talmud story, one of my very favorites, that goes as follows. One day, Rabbi Eliezer was caught in a dispute with his fellow sages about an oven that they could not decide if it was ritually pure or not. On that day, Rabbi Eliezer brought them all sorts of proofs of his correctness, but they were rejected. So he told them, "If the law is as I say, may the carob tree prove it." The carob tree was uprooted from its place a distance of 100 cubits, and some say 400. The group of sages said to him, "You can't prove anything from a carob tree." So Rabbi Eliezer responded, "If the law is as I say, may the waters prove it." And the water in the aqueduct began to flow backwards. The sages scoffed, "One cannot prove anything from an aqueduct." Rabbi Eliezer replied, "If the law is as I say, may the walls of the Beit Midrash, the house of study, prove it." And the walls of the house of study began to cave in. Rabbi Joshua rebuked these same walls. "If Torah scholars are debating a point of Jewish law, what are your qualifications to intervene?" The walls did not fall in deference to Rabbi Joshua, nor did they straighten up in deference to Rabbi Eliezer. They still stand there at a slant. Rabbi Eliezer finally said, "If the law is as I say, may it be proven from the heavens." Then there issued a heavenly voice which proclaimed, "What do you want from Rabbi Eliezer? The law is as he says." Rabbi Joshua stood on his feet and said, "Lo bashamayim hi, the Torah is not in the heavens. We take no notice of heavenly voices, since you, O God, have already at Sinai written in the Torah to follow the majority." Rabbi Natan subsequently met Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, and asked him, "What did God do at that very moment of debate?" Elijah replied, "God smiled and proclaimed, 'Nitzchuni banai, nitzchuni banai. My children have triumphed over me. My children have triumphed over me.'" Now, this story might feel a bit ironic considering that just this morning at Shavuot, we celebrated the giving of the Torah quite literally from the heavens. Our Torah truly knows how to set the scene regarding this reception, describing in vivid detail in Exodus 20, from which we read part this morning, of how the Israelites witnessed the 10 Commandments being given to Moses on top of a smoking Mount Sinai in a flurry of lightning and thunder, surrounded by blasting sounds of the shofar. Yet I want to bring to our attention a small detail that might get missed among this dramatic mix, found ever so slightly beforehand in Exodus 19. Just before the Israelites are set to farewell Moses on his journey up the mountain, we learn, "Vayichan sham Yisrael neged hahar," and the Israelites encamped in front of the mountain. We might be thinking to ourselves, sure, what's the big deal? We already know that the Israelites are in the desert and that they set up camp at the foot of Sinai. You might, however, have caught that word vayichan, to encamp, which is in the individual form. To make it a little more clear, this is the first time that Israel is referred to as a singular entity, as one united people under one God. Our great medieval commentator Rashi catches this too, and believes that this verbiage was intentional. For this was the first moment that we as Jews were considered ish echad belev echad, like one person with one beating heart. On the surface, doesn't that sound idyllic? Wouldn't the world be an entirely different place if we were all on the same page all the time? Perhaps there'd be no heated arguments, less tension, more peace, and perhaps the walls of the Beit Midrash would not have come caving in. Nonetheless, what Rashi does not say is that, whilst our hearts may have been ke'echad, as one, our minds, not necessarily. There is further evidence of this in Mishnah Eduyot, which asks of us, "V'lama mazkirin divrei hayachid bein hamerubin, ho'il ve'en halacha ele chedivrei hamerubin." Why do we preserve the opinion of the singular among the many, especially when the halacha leans towards the opinion of the majority? The Mishnah will go on to answer that this is because so that a Beit Din, specifically one that is great in number and great in wisdom, can use such an opinion as a precedent in an appropriate situation. In other words, nowhere in Rashi's brief but insightful interpretation, nor in our Mishnah, does it say that we have to think the same or do the same or feel the same or be the same. Just that, if we are fortunate, We experience moments as a community where our hearts feel aligned and pointed in a harmonious direction. Unity, then, might not always mean being in complete agreement, or that one entity or person is always right or even favored over another. However, our text might be teaching us that it is rather about respect of each other's opinion and the courage to stand together at the foot of the mountain, ready to face whatever comes next. In that way, the heavens and the earth can meet, the walls of the Beit Midrash remain standing, and from the foot of the mountain, we can climb upwards and onwards. So with that image in mind, last night over Erev Shavuot, with full hearts, we were privileged to celebrate 8 incredible confirmands as they reaffirmed their commitment to Torah and Jewish life, this time on their own terms and of their own accord. As part of the proceedings, they reflected on how, in their own growing and maturing, their interpretations of what Torah means in their generation can differ from that of their parents, no matter how they will each endeavor to still respect the heritage of their families and to honor them too. Mostly, the confirmands reflected on how truly excited they were to make Torah their own, and how honored they were to take their well-earned place among those who they love and those who have come before them. We, their community, in turn reassured them that they always have a safe space among us, to question, to doubt, to learn, and to thrive as they continue their Jewish lives. In forging that powerful and sacred bond between the confirmands, their community, and with Torah, under a chuppah set up before the open ark in the main sanctuary, they passed a Torah scroll around, gently handing it over to one another from friend to friend and symbolically l'dor vador. As each took the scroll into their arms, they repeated these words, which are my blessing for you on this evening, which may sound familiar from the blessings for Torah, as we farewell Shavuot, continue welcoming Shabbat, and today and every day receive Torah in respect, in wonder, and in love. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Blessed are you, Adonai, the one who gives us the precious gift of Torah. Shabbat Shalom. We turn to page 139 and we rise, Ke'ish echad belev echad, as one for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
With one heart, we now turn in the direction of sacred memory, to the memory of those who we have loved and lost at this time recently or in years gone by. Today, we mark the yahrzeit of the following: Roselle Abramowitz, David Aronson, Barry Berman, Sadie Bochnek, Mavis Breskel, Percy Budman, Rose Cadsby, Pearl Cole, Samuel Collins, Herbert Kramer, Ari Dotan, Ethel Dubin, Fanny Dworkin, Harry Eli, Louis Feldstein, Nathan Finkelstein, Alex Floman, Godfrey Goodman, Theodore Gould, Harry Harris, Michael Hart, Harry Hyde, Elizabeth J., Cora Kettner, Benjamin Kofsky, Louis Krakauer, Maya Lawrence, Julius Leston, Michael London, Max Mandel, Harry Marcus, Alan Marks, Anne Moranis, Renee Mornington, Faye Mossoff, Hila Neufeld, Irving Pullman, Mary Perlmutter, Sarah Rothstein, Belle Sadowski, Otto Schleissner, Samuel Shapiro, Ida Shapiro, Hazel Schaefer, Gussie Singer, Jacqueline Singer Edelson, Imre Samogi, Albert Steiner, Essie Steiner, Leopold Stossel, Phil Sweden, Bernard Tarshis, Rose Tarshis, Moses Toker, Arthur Weinreb, Lawrence Weinberg, Harriet Wolfe, Moses Siemens, and Charles Cohen. And the Kaufman family requests to remember today and every day Bill and Sophie Komisarau, Ken and Francis Sobel, Joan Sobel, Fred and Margaret Bernard, and Alice and Richard Kaufman. We remember too those who have died most recently and whose families are found in a period of Shloshim. Frida Berkovici, Harvey Bernstein, Suzanne Crawford, Kenneth Janda, Sheldon Kovensky, Herman Krame, Larry Kurlander, Errol Margunato, Rosalind Mason, Fran Peterseal, Donnie Resnick, David Rubin, Helen Rinsky, Betty Tabak, and Bob Rubin, the grandfather of our friend and colleague, Rabbi Kay. Are there any names to be repronounced or added to our memorial this evening? Zichronam livracha, the memories of our loved ones, are with us for a blessing as we rise on page 142 for the Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chirotei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya, Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei kodesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. V'nomar, together we say,
Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
I'd like to call up our bar mitzvah Max Kaufman to lead us in Kiddush and Hamotzi.
Use this. Put it up here. Put it up there. There you go. Ready? Big voice. There you go.
Baruch atah
Adonai.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvatzon hinchalanu zikaron lema'aseh reishit. Kiyom tehila lemikra kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim
Kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodeshecha be'ahava u'beratzon hinchaltanu.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim, take a sip. It's not.
And in honor of Rabbi Kay,
What a beautiful thought. Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem LeShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hu Nil Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Melech Malachei Hamelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzedchem Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Melech Malachei Hamelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ay Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh